Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I am back with a pretty big home. This is a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home in the world of Willow Creek. We are building a Victorian style home today and it's a really big one. I don't normally build things this big and you might recognize it if you follow me over on Twitch, as I've been working on this over the last couple of weeks. I do stream over on Twitch 3 to 4 days a week on twitch.tv/MissGryphi at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you're interested in joining us, I'll have a link down below. It's absolutely free and it's just a really fun way to hang out and build some stuff together. And plus you get to see builds like earlier and be part of the creative process and share ideas. And it's just so much fun. So I would love to see you over there. But this house is actually only using the Sims 4 base game. I was in the mood to build something base game inspired, and I feel like when I usually do base game builds, they're either just a traditional like suburban house or something more modern. So I decided today we would do something that was more Victorian inspired, since we do have a lot of that style in the Sims 4 base game. I thought that would be a fun idea. So I wanted to have a rounded porch and a few different like rounded rooms. I thought about having like a purely rounded room, but I actually ended up going with one that was on diagonals instead. So you'll see that we have one over here on top of the porch, and then there ends up being one on the other side of the build as well. And I think it came out really cool. The one thing that was really frustrating here though was placing these columns on the rounded porch. They did not want to go where I wanted them to go. And figuring out the color scheme of the exterior of this build took so long. I believe I cut out a lot of that footage because I didn't want this build to be too long, and it already is really long, so I hope you have a snack and you're ready to just hang out because this is one of the longer voiceovers I've done in a while. But this build did take me, I think, 3 streams to complete, so like 6-ish hours, so I did have a lot of footage to go through. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out the area on the front here. I wanted to have a little bit of a more defined entrance space. So where I have the staircase, I wanted to have a little bit of extra roofing come out from there. And I wasn't really happy with the shape, so I'm just playing around with that now because there were parts of it I liked and parts of it I didn't. So I kept deleting things and adding on. And in the end, I think this shape comes out so cool. I love this house. And if you'd like to download it for yourself, it is 228,967 simoleons. Like I said, it is a 5-bedroom house. And it is available on the Sims 4 gallery if you'd like to grab it. It's under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag MissGryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. So in addition to all of those bedrooms and stuff, we also have a really big pool outside and a sort of like shed space, which has some skill building items. There's a really big yard here. This is a pretty big lot. I think this is a 40 by 30. This is Umbrage Manor in Willow Creek. It's one of my favorite lots in this area of this size. I just think it's so pretty with everything around it, and I do really enjoy building here. There's like a little park behind it and some really pretty pink trees. So right now I am trying to figure out adding some sort of dormers just for some decoration. This top floor where I'm adding these dormers, there's nothing else up there, so you can't really access it. They were just decorative, but this is a fully furnished 2-floor house. And right here, I was so determined to use this window from base game, and I was happy to pair it with these other base game windows that I think work so nicely together. And this is where I'm trying to figure out the coloring on the outside. I really wanted to use this interior wallpaper that has more of a paneling look to it. And I kept trying different colors. And at this point, I still had the white windows. I tried white windows with brown trim on the inside, and I keep going back and forth. But in the end, I figured out, and this house is a lot darker than I thought it was originally going to be. I went with a lot of browns, which I was really proud of because every time I try and use browns like this on the outside, I am like, I'm going to do it this time. It's going to look great. I end up going back to white windows, and it's just because I feel like they're the safe option. They always look good, and I don't feel confident in making things with brown windows and brown doors look nice in The Sims, and I don't know why that is. But I did it this time, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So definitely let me know what you think. But I'm sure I will do some more things with white windows all the time because I just really like how they look. It looks so clean and new, and that is not the vibe I was going for here. So as you can see, all of a sudden everything is a lot darker. The windows are still like white and brown at this point, but I will be switching those out. I'm just figuring out the layout for the backyard first. So this is where I'm going to be putting that extra shed space. Towards the end of the build, when I actually go to decorate that space, though, I do make it smaller because it's a little bit too big to figure out what to put inside of it with just base game at this point. So I will be shrinking that down, but I think they have a really good sized backyard. I had fun figuring out what sort of landscaping to do back here. There are so many shrubs and bushes and flowers, and I think it came out really, really cute in the end. And I just love the shape of this house with all of the rounded porches. This is a really big house and I don't build them that often, so it was a lot of fun to do. So let me know if there's any other styles of like bigger family homes like this you would like to see, especially because I know infants are coming soon and it sounds like we're probably getting something family related in terms of an expansion pack. So let me know what sort of family homes you would like to see. I'd be totally down to do some more. And of course, once all of that content comes out, I will be doing lots of that as well. But in the meantime, if you have any ideas, or if you have ideas that are not related to families at all, because there will probably be a lot of that on the channel once the new content comes out, I would be down to do some other stuff first. But right here, you can see all the windows have changed, and I add this really pretty like trim on the porch. I think it adds so much nice detail, and it's not one I usually use. I just really love all the details that this house has. It was a really fun one to do. I love Victorian style builds. I had mentioned that kind of recently because I tried to decorate an apartment in this sort of style instead of a house, but it made me want to, tackle a house. Plus, it's just fun to do base game builds from time to time. Let me know if you enjoy base game builds, whether you only have base game or you have all of the packs. I'd be very curious to know that. But yeah, just working on some of the terrain paint here. At one point, I had closed out the game and came back and it was all gone, so I had to redo it, but I don't remember if that already happened at this point or if that's later, but I am using debug to grab these little fences to kind of frame out the lot a little bit more. I think they look so nice here. I was really happy with this, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to end it off on this side, so we're going to be playing around with that, but it doesn't quite connect over here. I end up putting some like shrubs and stuff, some bushes and flowers to sort of hide that a little bit later on, but just getting some more greenery over here to line the pathway. I love that this house kind of lines two streets. It's a corner lot. I really enjoy that in The Sims because not a lot of houses are like that. And I also really love that in base game, the like lots actually line up with roads, because a lot of the worlds we have, they don't. And it's fine if like some of them don't, but the amount that just purely don't really bothers me. So anyway, right here, I am deciding that I want this lawn to look like it was freshly mowed and has like the lines up and down it. And I thought that this was a really fun idea. I don't do that very often, so I cut most of that out. But I did do that in the front and like kind of clean it up on the sides so that it didn't just end abruptly at the end of the sidewalk. I figured it would make more sense if it ended inside of the fencing. You probably weren't perfectly mowing the one tile in front of the fence. I feel like that's a little odd. So I did that, and then we're working on the pool area back here and all of the terrain paint. I was really unsure how I wanted this to be laid out, and so I ended up actually doing it with tiles instead of with terrain paint, and I think it came out a lot better. I wanted to have a couple of chairs over here by the pool and a nice space over by the shed. I believe that's where we put the trash cans. Oh, no, we don't, because I moved them around a little bit because I end up having a hot tub right next to the shed space, which I think worked a lot better. So your Sims can actually have another space to hang out. That is a hot tub that we got with the 20th anniversary update, which was upsetting, to say the least. But it is still nice to have a hot tub in the base game. So I did enjoy adding that over here as another activity for your Sims. And then I just made this little corner over here a little like planter and added more of these same greenery pieces that I had throughout the rest of the backyard. I think it looks pretty cute, and I do end up adding a couple of windows here at the shed as well. When it comes to making it smaller later on, I basically just shrink the back of it so the front of this still stays the same. I didn't want to have to like rework the front of this build at all, well, the front of this structure at all. So I just ended up shrinking the back later on. You'll see that when we get to the end of the video, but I also wanted to add some monkey bars because I hadn't really figured out what Sims I was going to have in this house yet, but I figured there'd probably be some kids, or maybe there used to be. And so there's still monkey bars here, and it's one of the few activities we actually have in base game. So I thought it was a nice thing to add. And then I'm just getting a table and chairs out here as well. So if your Sims want to have some outdoor parties or do some barbecuing, there is an outdoor table. So I grabbed this beautiful one, which I believe was made by Hey Harry, and so were these chairs. They were a like set of CC items that were added to the game a couple of years ago now. But they're actually our base game. They're not CC, but they were originally made by a CC creator and just like added to the base game, which I think is so cool. I hope they do some more of that. I know they've done it with a few like hairstyles and not CC items. Well, yes, CC items, but some Create Sim assets as well. So I hope there is more of that to come this year. That'd be really cool. But just adding some lanterns up there and a little plant as a decoration, and that's pretty much it for that dining space. I just think it's a good size. It has space for 8 Sims. And then this is where I end up putting the trash cans, just so that there is a space for your Sims to take out the outdoor trash. That's something I often forget, but we're finally heading inside. 10 minutes into the build. We're working on the floor plan now. And I remember this one being difficult, but I think I cut out a lot of it. I did really like how the windows fit perfectly above the staircase though. And I think the layout of this house is kind of fun. We have a very strange nook over here, and that ends up being like a bar area inside of the dining room, which I think looks so cool. And right here, I'm just trying to figure out the bathroom placement. I think this worked the best. It's kind of like interior, separating the spaces. And then upstairs, I am trying to figure out the floor plan here as well. The grandparents that I imagined were in this house, or I think we imagined it was just a grandpa. He has the bedroom with the ensuite that leads out to that second story balcony. And then the primary bedroom is actually over here, the one I'm working on now with that blue bed. And they have an ensuite and also an archway into this other little room that I decided would be a really cute nursery for a newborn or an infant once infants come out. So that is how I decorated that. And the rest of the rooms are pretty much teenagers' rooms. I was thinking they were going to be like 2 kids and a teen, but they all kind of lean more teenagery. But you could definitely customize those rooms and make it for whatever sim that you had in mind, whatever age sim you have. As I assume if you download my builds, you probably customize them for whatever family you're playing with and don't just keep exactly what I have because, the rooms might not fit the specific sims that you have. I just like to create the houses, and it's fun to come up with concepts for them to make them a little bit more interesting to watch and to build instead of just doing a generic kids room every time, although sometimes I do that. But anyway, this is the kitchen space. It's pretty big. And of course, I used my favorite of the base game counters, which are these ones with the tiles on top. I'm not sure why these are my favorites, especially because in real life, I'm not much of a fan of the tiled countertops, but I think they're really nice. And for some reason, this is making me think of the fact that last year in the Summit stream, I don't know why this is making me think of it because I don't think they were tiled counters, but there were 2 pictures they showed of some new items we'd be getting this year. And one was a bedroom set, I think, and the other one was a kitchen set. And for some reason, building this kitchen is making me excited to know what that is. Is that coming with an expansion? Is that coming with a game pack? Is that going to be another kit? I don't know, but I'm excited for more kitchens. I love building kitchens. They're my favorite. I mean, we're just building a base game kitchen right now, and it's still like my favorite room to decorate. So let me know what your favorite room to decorate is. I know this year I've been trying to get better at bathrooms. If you follow me here and look at and watch my YouTube shorts, I've been trying to decorate some more bathrooms, and I thought that was really fun and silly timing that I was like, I want to get better at bathrooms. And then The Sims is like, here's a bathroom clutter kit. So that helped out really nicely, but those have probably always been like my least favorite builds. Also, sorry if you heard that, I just booped my mic with my chin, but the kitchens have always been my favorite. I just really love them. So if I can get some more kitchen stuff, I would very much welcome that. But anyway, I wanted to add a cutting board in here because I was building this on stream and chat demanded it, even though there isn't like a cutting board in the regular catalog in base game. I was able to get that one from Debug and rotate it with Tool, so it looks like it's on the counter. It doesn't really match this kitchen, but it was kind of a fun thing to add, so I was happy to add that. And then we just got a little side table over here as we had some extra space to fill up, and I got a couple of pieces of clutter over here, just trying to make it feel like, it was intentional. It has a couple things on it, but nothing too complicated. And that's pretty much it for this kitchen. I believe we add a clock over here as well. Yeah. And that is the kitchen space done and the end of one of the streams that I did. And then we come back and I believe finish the rest of the house in the final stream. But first I'm grabbing some like pots and pans above here and a couple of rugs. I think the kitchen came out cute, especially just for using the base game, but let me know what you think. Anyway, this is the entryway here, and I decided to get some just cabinetry over here because For whatever reason, when I'm building houses, even if it's base game, I always imagine spaces for those walk-in closets from Get Together. And then when I go to furnish it, I'm like, oh, I don't have those. So I just put some cabinetry there to kind of look like it was a closet space when you first walk in, like a coat closet. So I thought that looked nice. And then just getting some curtains on the windows. This entryway is pretty simple, and I think it's the only hallway I show. We have a big hallway upstairs, but I don't really show decorating that because it's pretty boring. But down here, I just have a half bath when you first walk in. So we have a sink and a toilet, using like the same tiles from the kitchen and putting down all of the basics that you would need in here, and a couple of decorations as well. I like to add like flowers and towels and all of that. But yeah, not a lot to add in here, not a lot to say about this space. It's just the downstairs bathroom, and I think it came out pretty cute in the end. I do really like this color scheme, and I've been really into adding these like table lamps in different locations, whether that's in a kitchen or a bathroom lately. And I don't know why, but I just think it looks so cozy. So I was happy to do that. I just lowered the lighting on it so that it wouldn't be too harsh, and got a couple of products over here as well. But I think that's actually it for this room. I keep adding more. For some reason, I thought I only had a couple things in here, but I apparently added a lot of decorations to this bathroom, but it came out cute in the end, so I am not mad at that. But moving on into the living room, I definitely needed to use this giant fireplace. It just felt right for this house, so I used that, and I used my favorite swatch of this base game couch, which is this striped version. I just think it looks so much nicer than the plain versions or the other couches that are a little bit more this style. And then I'm just scaling this rug up with tulle to make it fit the space a little bit better, and rotating this table here to make a nice round table that I felt like fit the space a little bit better. I wanted to inject some more blue into the space to really bring out that blue in the rug and, you know, add something to this that wasn't just beige and brown, because the whole inside of this is very brown right now. So adding the blue, I think, helped a little bit. And then I just rotated a mirror to put up above the fireplace and, you know, getting some more plants and stuff around the space as well. I also decided to add another table in the middle here to kind of act as a tray. So I'm using the red shelf to place everything at the right level. I have to move everything out of the way so it doesn't snap to the tables that are already there, because I kind of want it to be floating. So you can see the whole process of me just checking to see if it's okay. So I got a magazine and some candles that are on a tray in the middle here, which I thought was a fun little decoration piece. I try and get creative like that when it comes to base games, since we are limited on the items that we have. And then I added a globe over in the corner and a couple of other decorations. We have a bust up here and some books and stuff. I like that the couches are facing each other, but if you look one way, you have the fireplace, and if you look the other, you have the TV. I thought that that was a nice way to lay out this room. And then I just got some fancy artwork over here as well. I will be moving all of the stuff I put over here, this table and that artwork, over in a little while, because where I placed the bar in that kind of strange shaped tower room in the dining room next door, there's not a way to get back there, so I end up putting a door to get behind the bar. So you'll see that here shortly, that I end up having to move all of that over because the bar is going to be over there. But I think it worked out really nicely, and it was a fun layout, and I just really like this space. So this is the dining table I chose, and that is the placement of the bar. So here I am moving all of that over so your Sims can get back there. I think it looks so cute to have like a built-in bar in this space. I feel like I just don't use bars that often, and maybe I should, because there are a couple of bars that like match the kitchen sets. So you can make it look built in as part of the kitchen, but for some reason I never think to do that. So maybe I'll do that sometime soon. Maybe I'll do like an apartment or a home for like a mixologist. That could be really fun. Oh, and then I also put this shelf here that has all of the different like drink bottles on it. And I used tulle to shove it into the wall just a tad bit so you don't have that lighting on the back. And I think it looks so nice in that space. It matches the wood paneling, and it just looks so intentional and like a really cool built-in. I really, really enjoyed that. But just getting some more decorations in there before moving on into the office, which I completely forgot we had. So this is just like a skill building room. I have a desk and a computer, a bunch of decorations, and I want to say I have a bonsai tree in here as well if your Sims want to work on that. And I think that's it for the different skill building items in here. I just wanted to make it look like it was being used. So I have lots of clutter throughout, boxes of junk, posters, and like this open book over here, lots of other books all around, and a lamp in the corner. I accidentally grabbed the martini one at first, so oops on that, but I did replace it. And then out back, I'm remembering to grab the barbecue. I also got a couple of planters outside as well, because that is one of the skill building items we have with base game. And I always think they look nice, and it just helped fill up the backyard. But This is going to be Grandpa's room. Grandpa is an artist. We needed to use this bed that has the paintings on it. I think it is so pretty. So we have a very blue color scheme going on in here. We have like different art pieces he has been working on hanging up around the space, lots of canvases. I actually swap out one of the bedside tables for an art table to use as a bedside table, which is really cute. I put one of those out on the balcony as well because that's where Grandpa's easel is. He does a lot of his painting outside, which is really cute. And I was just collecting a bunch of pictures to put up here, whether they're paintings or we were kind of thinking that one photo was a wedding photo of him and his late wife. I thought that was a cute idea. And yeah, just getting some more decor over here. Another one of these lamps, some folded up laundry, nice mirror over here that I lowered with tulle. And he also has a TV up on his fireplace and jazz cats. I love that painting. I don't know why. I just think it's so goofy. And so I like to add it in spaces like this. But just getting a bunch of like random clutter, some of it associated with art like that hand model. But also that duck is just so cute. I needed to add that. And I like the little TV over here as well. I'm trying to think what we put in this corner over in this space. I think, yeah, just a little dresser over here. And then I put a couple of decorations out on his balcony. I love that he has this little art space, but I think I just put a plant out there. And that's it for Grandpa's room. And now we're working on the primary bedroom, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is pretty beige. Although I might have swapped out the color of the bed because I wasn't liking how it was looking. We're gonna find out together. There's only so many swatches with base game, so it is a little bit harder to figure out a color scheme that is interesting when you have such limited swatches. Okay, yeah, it's still pretty beige in here, but there's a little bit of blue. That's pretty much the whole color scheme of the house is mostly beige with a little bit of blue. So that is how this room came out, and the nursery ends up being like a pinkish color, like a pink dinosaur themed nursery, which I think is really cute. I like this room. So yeah, just have the basic baby bassinet because that's what we have with base game until infants come out. I am so excited. There's going to be so many infant builds. I'll probably do some more base game builds too, because there should be lots of new things added to base game for infants. I would assume so anyway. If there's not, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, just decorating the space. I got some side tables over here. I combined these two like half circle ones to make a little stand over here with a little dinosaur painting above it. And that's pretty much it for that room. Heading on to these next kids' rooms, I just picked some beds and kind of ran with it. The one that has the red and blue swatch, though, I do end up swapping that out for, I think, the green swatch of that bed instead, because it just wasn't coming together. I wasn't happy with it. But this room, I love the color scheme of the black and the blue. I was thinking this sim was into reading and video games. That is kind of what I picked based on the posters. And I kept them fairly generic, but I had a lot of fun with the color schemes of these spaces. Like I said, you'll probably customize these based on the sims that you have. So I just wanted to play around and figure out some cool colors. So each of the rooms does have a desk, which I think is really nice. I can't remember if I added computers to any of them though, or if it's just like a desk space to do homework, but I do have desks for each of the rooms. We have some messy clutter around. So there's like clothes on the floor. I put the fake hampers in here. I say fake because we have laundry day stuff as well, which adds functional laundry to the game. But since this is base game, I didn't include those. So I just have the decorative ones in the rooms. I thought that just added some more realism to this build. And they all have the same desk as well in different swatches. I was trying so hard to make a color scheme happen in this room, this blue and red, and it just really wasn't working. But it does come together in the end. I added a lot of books and stuff. I was thinking this sim was into reading and writing. And I also added a pride flag in here, which I thought was quite cute. They have a nice bookcase over in the corner. And I think this blue and orange color scheme worked a lot better. I also thought that they probably liked music. So that is how that switched up since the color scheme switched up. And this bed has guitars on it. So I was like, oh, okay, music. Reading and music. This is where we're going with this sim. But I really like how this room came out. I think it's quite cute. The blue and gray color scheme with pops of orange. I think those colors go together really nicely. So that is pretty much it for that room. Just adding a couple more decorations, some nail polish, a little open journal and a book bag, and just like some lotions and stuff on their dresser. And this is going to be the final teenager's room. It's very green. I think it's really pretty. This swatch of this bed is one of my favorites with all the leaves on it. I did have to rotate these bedside tables to make them fit over here, but then I swapped them out for these smaller ones because it's just such a small space. And I also loved rotating this painting from base game with Tool. I think it just looks so much nicer as a horizontal painting, and it feels like I got a whole new piece of artwork just by using it that way. So I was really happy about that. And then just trying to decorate the space. I was thinking the sim was really into plants. Maybe they're the sim that's using all the planters in the backyard. So they have a couple of plants in their room on their bedside tables. We have a just like regular looking green plants. We also have some sunflowers I was thinking they picked. And just a few other clutter items. So I have some books on the bedside table, a couple of perfumes, just trying to make the space look lived in, and grab this really cute base game rug. I used to use this all the time, but for some reason I don't anymore, but it has a rose on it. So I really thought it fit the whole theme of this room. Of course, couldn't forget the same laundry basket that I put in the rest of the rooms. And then we're moving on into the shed out back, which I did make smaller at this point, and we are adding in just a few skill building items. I wanted it to look like a garage, so I do have the woodworking bench and a punching bag and just like lots of junk, lots of clutter and stuff. I just wanted it to look realistic. So I'm adding these tools up above the workbench. I also made sure to get a sink in here. I also got an extra fridge. I feel like that's pretty realistic in like a garage or a basement, having like the old fridge that has just like some drinks and stuff in it. I also added a frog out here and a bunch of crates and all sorts of just random decorative clutter. I think it looks pretty cool out here. I was quite happy with it. I did change out a couple of the items a few different times to make it look a little bit more interesting. So we're adding a couple more crates and a rug here. I also made sure to get some shades on the windows just for a little bit of extra detail. Not that you really need them in this space. And I also added a jukebox and a weight machine, which I thought was quite fun. So lots of skill building out here. But that's pretty much it for this build. I really hope you enjoyed it. We're just grabbing a mailbox to put out front, finishing up the landscaping, and heading on into screenshots. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the screenshots. Bye everyone. Down on me. Just don't get enough.